49ers and the Lions. And let me tell you, two different bets here made, one from me, one from Brad. This is a 49ers team that had one of the worst injury situations in recent NFL memory last year. It was a team that not only on the offensive side of the ball was decimated, but the defensive side of the ball as well. They just had the worst luck you could possibly imagine. Now they come back healthy. They come back with a new piece to the offense in Trey Lance. Now, that being said, it does look like he's dealing with a little bit of finger issues, so it doesn't look like he's going to be much of a factor in this one, but certainly could run a couple of trick plays here and there. Lions on the other side of the ball are going to be one of the worst teams in the entire NFL. They traded away Matthew Stafford for Jared Goff. There's no real playmakers at the receiver position either. There are no real superstars on either side of the ball, and they have a coach that is talking about eating kneecaps or whatever and stuff like that. So, I mean, this is what the Lions and Lions fans are going to be dealing with throughout the course of the season in this one. I'll just go ahead and kick things off for me. This 49ers team has aspirations of being in the mix, if not in the mix for the NFC, but in the mix for the Super Bowl as well. They think that this team is talented enough to do that. If you look on paper on both sides of the ball, they should have enough talent to at least be contenders, at least be there towards the end of all this, so long as they don't have that type of injury luck that they had last year as well. I really do think that the smart decision was to go with Garoppolo early, to bank these early wins, to bank these teams that you're supposed to be beating on a week-to-week basis. And, getting this first win against the Lions, I also believe, is one of them. Now, Mike McDaniel takes over as offensive coordinator here. D'Amico Ryans takes over as defensive coordinator. So we do have new coordinators. So that is something we're going to have to be dealing with a little bit, but we know that Shanahan's really running that offense as it is anyway. They bring in center Alex Mack, which can only help, though he's on the wrong side of 30 when it comes to your career and all that. But again, one of the better centers perennially in the NFL, year in and year out. They also drafted another offensive guard with their second round pick as well. They added Trey Sermon at the running back position in the third round, who I think is actually going to end up making a pretty decent impact over the course of the season. This is one of my favorite teaser legs of the week. If you don't know what a teaser is, you're able to manipulate the line by 6 points. Typically, we're trying to take a 7.5, an 8, or an 8.5 down through the key number of 7 and through the key number of 3, or take an underdog of 1.5, 2 points, or 2.5 points up through the field goal and the touchdown as underdogs. So those are the typical kind of basic strategy type things here for that. San Francisco favored by 7.5 in this one. I'm taking it down to 1.5. I'm pairing it up with a game that we'll talk about a little bit later in the Rams. Really love this leg, getting this thing under a field goal. So feel really confident and good about that one. If the 49ers lose this game to this first game of the season to the Lions, then this season is going off of the rails as it is anyway. Brad, I know you also have a bet on the 49ers and Lions.
Yeah, I mean, I broadly agree that I think the 49ers are legitimate Super Bowl contenders. They're banged up like you wouldn't believe last year, but the roster is elite, the coaching is elite, and yeah, if they stay healthy, I think they'll be there at the end. But I went with the under here, and it basically, it wasn't a huge play, but it was basically on how the Lions want to play. I was listening to a beat reporter, I think maybe from The Athletic, and he was saying about training camp preseason. He was saying, they want to kind of run a throwback offense, which is run, and the occasional shot play. And he said, but there's no shot plays. Like he said they're literally not throwing deep. So it's run, right? Now, the strength of this team was meant to be the offensive line. They drafted Penei Sewell in the first round. They flipped him over to right tackle, and the reports are that he's not playing well at all. That, A, didn't play football for a year last year. B, he was a lifelong left tackle, and he's really struggling to make the switch. Well, now you've got Joey Bosa in your face, so good luck with that. And it's not like Jared Goff is famous for doing anything at all under pressure. I mean, I think the drop-off from him is going to be monumental this year. I think it might look a lot like his rookie season in 2016 before McVay got a hold of him, when he was probably like a bottom 2 quarterback in the NFL. So, yeah, I could see the Lions scoring literally 7 points,
Right.
And then the 49ers, I think if they get the lead, they don't want Jimmy Garoppolo throwing all over it. You know, you think about it, they're happy to run the ball, just grind the game out. That's kind of what Shanahan wants to do is pound you into dust. So yeah, I'm quite looking forward to this Lions team that banging on about eating kneecaps all season, just getting ground into dust by, you know, a far superior roster and a far superior coach.
Steven, this isn't one that you have a play on, but I know that you are a 49ers fan, that this was, you know, a team that I think that you and I broadly agree on, that with the roster, the way it's constructed, could definitely be a contender so long as injury luck goes their way here. And I think that I don't think there's any way to deny that this Lions team is going to be one of the worst in the NFL. I think it'll be kind of a tank off between them and the Texans at some point in the season. Like, who can lose in the most in the best way here? Because they also know Jared Goff is not the future at quarterback for them. They're going to move on from him as soon as they can. So they're also going to be looking to draft the quarterback of the future for them in the draft. So I wouldn't shy away from playing the 49ers, even with the spread. I think this thing could get out of hand, but with what Steven says, I mean, with what Brad says, it does make a lot of sense that maybe there is a tiny bit of backdoor consideration from the Lions, because the 49ers are more than comfortable running the ball a million times in a game. We saw that several different times over the course of the last few seasons. If the run game is working, they will run the ball. They do not care. Like, they're not one of these teams that come in and feel like they have to do something just because that's the way that the NFL works these days. And so they'll run the ball if the run game is working. So wasn't comfortable laying the 7.5, but I'll take this in a teaser leg down. What do you think about the 49ers here?
No, I like your teaser leg play there. I think it's great strategy. Our senior writer, Mo Nawara, has 5 teaser leg options up at thelines.com right now. And this side is one of those that he recommended. And on top of your best practices in terms of teasing points on those key spread numbers, when the total is low, the points you buy are even more valuable as well. And this has a low total in this game, sitting at around 45 and a half right now. So I think that only increases the best practices of making the 49ers a teaser leg here. So it wouldn't surprise me if 6 to 8 weeks into the season, we could actually have a debate on whether the Lions are actually worse than the Texans, because the Lions are actually trying to win games and the Texans are not.